because frankly, one of the concerns that I've had right along is that it's important that we recognize that there continues to be a huge divide between the perceptions and, in many instances, convictions of people of color, especially in the African American community, regarding this issue on the one hand and law enforcement on the other, whether we're talking about LAPD or we're talking about law enforcement throughout the country. One of the attachments included in Ms. Tiefang's report included a New York Times article. Well, it was talking about the bigger picture in terms of Senator Obama's candidacy and the racial divide, but there was one very interesting fact. 40% of the African Americans who were polled nationwide believe that they have been racially profiled. Now, I'm not suggesting that all 40% were necessarily racially profiled, but that is a strong belief, and that's a huge number. And it's hard. It would be hard to conclude that every single one of those 40% without foundation. I personally cannot get to that conclusion. Maybe other people can. I think it's also important for us to recognize that that we not conclude that simply because, as a result of your survey and your survey, and I'm sure Dr. Fidel's research, that just because we have not had instances of findings of individual officers being guilty of racial profiling and or other variations, that should not lead us to conclusion that we have achieved the ideal in America in which we have a colorblind law enforcement, series of law enforcement institutions that are colorblind. I just don't think we've gotten there yet. We've made a lot of progress, certainly in Los Angeles, but I don't think we've gotten there yet. But I think we should view this as a challenge, and I agree with, on many occasions, all of you have made the point that you can't get inside a person's head and really know what the motivation was, but we have to continue to look for ways, proactive ways of getting as close to the facts as possible, and taking some of the other steps that you've outlined to make sure that we do get past this issue and get to the point where communities are going to feel that they're being policed with respect and indeed are find that that's the case.